In the quiet town where I lived, there was a forest that lay beyond my backyard. It was a peaceful place, a retreat where my dog Max and I would often explore together. Max, my faithful companion, had a knack for sensing things that escaped my attention. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in hues of gold and pink, Max's behavior took a sharp turn. We were in the backyard, just enjoying the evening breeze, when something caught his attention. His ears perked up, his tail stiffened, and before I could react, he bolted into the woods. Shocked by his sudden departure, I called out his name, my voice carrying a mix of concern and urgency. But Max didn't heed my calls. He was on a mission of his own. Fear trickled into my chest as I chased after him. The woods, once a place of comfort, now felt strange and unsettling. The leaves rustled in a way that seemed to whisper secrets, and the branches creaked with a mournful tone. I could feel the weight of the shadows, a palpable sense of the unknown. Max's barks echoed through the trees, guiding my steps. With each step, the ground seemed to steal my breath, the fear of the unexpected gnawing at me. The forest was a maze of uncertainty, each twist and turn a reminder that things were not as they seemed. And then, as I navigated through a thicket of underbrush, I saw him. Max stood before an old, dilapidated house, its windows like vacant eyes staring out into the night. The decorations, skulls and skeletons, adorned the exterior like grim ornaments, casting an eerie glow in the moonlight. My heart clenched as I took in the scene before me. A shiver ran down my spine, and a heaviness settled over the clearing. The air felt charged, as if I had stumbled upon a place that existed between the realms of the living and the dead. I called to Max, my voice wavering with a mixture of concern and apprehension. Max's barks turned to whimpers, and I saw a flicker of fear in his eyes, a fear that mirrored my own. I took a tentative step forward, compelled by a mix of worry for my dog and an inexplicable curiosity about the house. The wind seemed to carry whispers, ancient secrets that brushed against my skin. A sudden noise from within the house jolted me from my thoughts, and I saw Max retreat a few steps. His gaze locked on the entrance. My breath caught, and my instincts screamed at me to flee. But I couldn't leave Max alone in this unsettling place. With a shaky breath, I approached the house, my footsteps cautious and deliberate. The creaking of the porch beneath my feet seemed to echo through the night like a distant warning. The door, half ajar, beckoned me forward, its darkness a stark contrast to the moonlit clearing. And then I saw it. Max stood beside an open doorway, his eyes fixed on something inside. I followed his gaze and my heart sank. The interior of the house was adorned with more skulls and skeletons, their hollow eyes staring out from the darkness. A feeling of dread settled over me, a weight that seemed to press me into the ground. Max's whimpers grew louder, a sound that reverberated with his own unease. I reached for him, my fingers trembling as I scooped him into my arms. Without looking back, I retreated from the house, the heaviness lifting as I distanced myself from its haunting presence. My steps quickened, every footfall a desperate attempt to escape the unknown. The woods seemed to release their hold on me, the moonlight guiding my way back to safety. We burst through the tree line, back into the familiarity of our backyard. Max's barks now a chorus of relief. I held him close, his warmth a soothing reminder of reality. With one last glance at the forest, I turned away, a shiver running down my spine as I locked eyes with the moon. In the safety of my home, I held Max as if he were a lifeline, his steady heartbeat a comforting reassurance. The memory of that night lingers, a reminder of the thin boundary between the ordinary and the uncanny, and the secrets that can lie hidden within the shadows. The old house, with its haunting decorations, remains untouched, a reminder that there are places where the boundary between our world and the unknown can blur like the edges of a dream. The sun was beginning to dip below the horizon as I ventured into the heart of the dense forest. The air was thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or distant caw of a crow. I had always been drawn to the mysteries of the wilderness, but that day I would experience a terror beyond anything I'd ever imagined. I followed a narrow trail that wound deeper into the woods. The trees seemed to close in on me, their gnarled branches casting twisted shadows that danced in the fading light. Unease settled in the pit of my stomach, but I pressed on, determined to conquer my fears. As darkness enveloped the forest, I pulled out my flashlight. Its weak beam struggled to pierce the inky blackness, revealing only fleeting glimpses of the tangled underbrush. Strange sounds echoed through the trees, a distant howl that didn't belong to any creature I knew, and the unmistakable snap of a twig underfoot. My heart raced, but I attributed my unease to my overactive imagination. That is, until I heard whispers, soft, almost indistinct voices that seemed to come from all around me. I halted in my tracks, straining to hear more. The words were unintelligible, but the sinister tones sent shivers down my spine. Doubt gnawed at my resolve, but I couldn't turn back now. I needed to find my way out of the forest. My flashlight's beam flickered, casting erratic shadows that danced along the trees. Panic clawed at my chest as I realized the batteries were failing. I quickened my pace, stumbling over roots and fallen branches. Suddenly, the trail ended in a small clearing. In the center stood a weathered, ancient-looking tree. Its twisted branches reached skyward, devoid of leaves. My flashlight died completely, plunging me into darkness. Desperation took hold as I fumbled for spare batteries, my heart pounding like a drum. With the flashlight finally working again, I shone it toward the tree. My blood ran cold. The whispers had grown louder, now forming words in a language I couldn't understand. Shadows swirled around the tree's base, taking on an almost humanoid form. I wanted to flee, but my legs were paralyzed by fear. As I watched in horror, the shadows coalesced into something that resembled a figure. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, fixated on me. The whispers turned into a haunting chant, resonating in my head. Panic surged within me, and I fled blindly through the forest, branches clawing at my clothes. Hours later, exhaustion forced me to a halt. I found myself back at the edge of the forest, gasping for breath. The moon illuminated the trees behind me, but the figure and the whispers were nowhere to be seen. I'd never return to that forest again, haunted by the memory of that night. Even now, I can't shake the feeling that the ancient tree held secrets beyond human understanding, and that the forest was a place where the boundary between our world and something darker was dangerously thin. And so our story begins, with a group of fearless hikers venturing deep into the wilderness, seeking new thrills and adventures. Little did they know that their wanderlust would lead them to an unexpected discovery. A small, non-civilized town veiled in a shroud of mystery and forgotten by time. Drawn by the allure of the unknown, they followed the winding path that led to a church, standing tall like a sentinel, its age-old secrets waiting to be unraveled. As the hikers stepped inside the church, they felt an inexplicable presence lingering in the air. The ancient walls seemed to whisper, recounting tales of a forgotten past. In the dim light, they discovered cryptic symbols etched into the stone, hinting at a history filled with enigmatic rituals and ghostly apparitions. Beyond the church doors lay a graveyard where weathered tombstones bore names long lost to memory. The hikers sensed an ethereal energy surrounding them, as if the spirits of the past still lingered in that hallowed ground. Amidst the silent graves, they found one particular headstone, marked with a date that sent a chill down their spines. It seemed to hold the key to the town's haunting past. Determined to uncover the truth, the hikers sought out the town's eldest resident, a wise old man who held the town's secret close to his heart. He spoke of an ancient curse, a malevolent force that ensnared the souls of the deceased, forever binding them to the church and graveyard. As the night deepened, they found themselves surrounded by a sense of foreboding. Whispers carried on the wind, and shadows danced in the periphery of their vision. With trepidation in their hearts, the hikers knew they had to leave before the malevolent force claimed them as its own. They made a frantic dash through the town, their hearts pounding in their chests. And so, dear viewers, our courageous hikers escaped the clutches of the cursed town. Forever changed by the enigma they uncovered, the haunting church and graveyard will forever be etched in their memories, a testament to the wonders and dangers that lie hidden in the heart of the wilderness. Did these stories send shivers down your spine? Could you imagine yourself in their unsettling situations? If you've braved these tales till the end, consider subscribing to our channel for more captivating narratives that delve into the unknown. If you have your own spine, tingling, or hair-raising tale to share, send it our way via email. We'd love to feature your story in our next video. Remember, even the most ordinary places can harbor extraordinary secrets. Stay curious and stay captivated.